just going just like that hamster around and around and around and getting nowhere? Well, why don't you let God lead and guide you? Because I don't know about you, but I'm praying for the president. I'm praying for you, my brothers and sisters. We all need to be guided into truth. We all need to be guided into a plain path. And you know, the president is going to have to make some big decisions. So what we're going to do, we're going to pray that God would guide this man into making decisions. Psalms 25:9 says, the meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. We need to seek him for the president, not only for the president, my brothers and sisters. How about your family? How about your children? How about your mom and your dad? How about the people that are lost and undone? How about seeking God for them? Because God can lead them and he can guide them. You know, I love that Psalm, the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd. Oh, what a mighty shepherd we have. All we got to do is just ask him to lead and guide us through the valley of despair, up and down the mountains of adversity, and he will lead you, because that is who he is. He loves you. Now, he is a God, a good God, and he will do what he says he will do. So remember, there is a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Today's program is a repeat of a program from last year featuring Local 102 Union and union members. We hope you enjoy today's Ask Your Neighbor.
We teach HVAC, welding, pipe fitting, plumbing, rigging, valve tech.
Valve tech.
Wow.
Just about anything to do with the mechanical industry we cover. We have 6 local pipe fitter, steam fitter, 1 straight line plumber local in the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
Every state has multiple mechanical industry unions.
Yes.
Which falls under an umbrella of the United Association. So we cover the United States, Canada, Australia, Ireland, a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head.
Wow.
They put in $300 and something million, over $300 million for training throughout the United States, not counting Canada.
When folks are interested in getting involved in your programs, how do they get information? Do you work with like schools or community colleges? How do you work to find folks?
So this organizing thing has just come around.
Yeah.
Okay. The United Association said, all right, we need to reach out and get these young people.
Sure.
Because the workforce, we went through the term, where it used to be construction workers were looked down on. Everybody wanted their kids to go to college and learn how to work on a computer and stuff. What's that been, 30 years ago or
Sure.
something? Now the trade industry has really fallen behind, and we have massive amounts of work coming up.
And need people.
Our perfect example, are you familiar with the UPF project in Oak Ridge?
Yes.
Okay. So I was a job steward for TVA, Kingston plant, and I got pulled from that to come to UPF. And it really bothered me that when I was down there, I had 600 fitters on that job. Probably 150 of them were local.
Yeah.
The rest of them were out of town. And we're talking $140, $150, $160, $180,000 a year jobs.
Yeah.
That money's not here local.
It's leaving.
Yeah, I got a problem with that.
Absolutely.
When we've got kids out here, and I've worked a little bit with the NAACP, going to inner communities, talking, getting these kids that, hey, you don't have to go to college. There's another future out there.
When Governor Lee ran, he expressed a disconnect, where people didn't understand that there was even this to offer kids. It seemed like you said, everybody, all the kids and all the parents were pushing their kids into four-year colleges to be, who knows, come out with a liberal arts degree. But it just wasn't on the forefront of people's minds. My dad's a retired pipe fitter. He retired from down at Y12. Down there, ended up being a planner when he had his last years that he worked down there. But so I'm very familiar with it. He's part of the union. But it just seems like that a lot of people didn't realize, especially the amount of money that you can make going through this and learning these trades. It's impressive, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot of money now, but I guess with the way inflation, it's not that much.
Well,
you can make easily, especially if you want to travel.
Sure.
If you want to travel, I mean, 200 plus thousands. That's, the benefits are the main thing.
Absolutely.
I don't care about the money on the check. I'm worried about the benefits.
Sure.
And that's what we kind of go out and try and explain. And I was really surprised when I was doing this. I was like, well, these kids out of high school, they're going to be wanting a lot of money. I was really impressed. These kids in their 20s, early 20s, are already thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
I guess whatever generation it is now, they're really starting to think about when they retire. They want to retire early, and the medical insurance. That's the big thing.
What all has changed in unions over the last 20 or 30 years? Is it still the same and you're just getting the word out, or have things changed and grown and you guys have expanded, I guess, your base?
Well, that's multiple.
A bunch of questions in one, isn't it?
I've been a member of Local 102 for over 40 years.
Yes.
I went through the apprenticeship program. So I've seen it all, been through several presidents. We've got a bad union as a whole, has a bad stigma, and a lot of that's because of the larger unions. That there's a difference between larger unions and construction unions. IBEW, pipe fitter, sheet metal, we're separate than what you see that's always on the news with the strikes. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But the public just kind of ties that to the
all
same.
Together.
Yes. Our goal is to give top quality training, turn out top quality skilled craft people, give them to the contractor so the contractor can make all the money. We want them to make so much money they're sick of making money. We want good quality work in there.
Sure.
And, when train these young kids, it don't have to be young kids. It could be somebody that's been doing pipe fitting for 10, 15, 20 years that's been on not a part of the union. If they wanted to come over union and they wanted the insurance and the medical insurance and the retirement, they can come down our facility and train. If
Sure.
they need to get upgraded on training or they want to switch fields, and it's all free to them.
Have you seen an uptick in people wanting to learn these trades and become, to do this now more than, let's say, probably even 10 years ago?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, why can you not go through a program and go to work and make money while you're going through school, top out? And some people top out early. And then they go out, they go to work, and they're making money. They don't have any college debt.
Yeah.
They can get out of mom and dad's house. Mom and dad's not burdened. And it's, the requirements as far as OSHA and stuff, the jobs, and, it's not bad work. It's good, clean work.
You mentioned travel earlier, but here, just in East Tennessee, we have billions, literally billions of dollars worth of contracts and upcoming construction and work, don't we? With the TVA, with the nuclear, with the plants that are locating down here and the different businesses. I mean, billions, literally billions of dollars coming in work.
Absolutely. That's a good thing and that's a bad thing.
Okay.
Just as a personal opinion, okay?
Okay.
As far as the union, when I come through the apprenticeship program, every contractor in Knoxville, with the exception of maybe a couple, were union shops. So coming in, going through training, get done on one job. If they didn't have anything, you jump over to the next one.
And everybody knew what they were doing.
Right. Exactly. Or, coming out as apprentice, you're with a journeyman and
Sure.
you're changing. Our local, as of some other locals, I won't mention their names, kind of got involved in all this government work at that time back in the 80s, DOE, Y12, X10, they were booming.
Yeah.
And they kind of left the smaller contractors behind in the commercial industry. there is more money in our jurisdiction, take Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Knoxville, Loudon, Lenore City, Morristown, Jefferson City. There is more money than what is out there at DOE and TVA.
Sure.
And a lot less headaches to deal with.
A lot less government red tape.
So, our focus is to kind of get these guys in and try and sell these contractors what we have to offer in training and benefits and, hopefully instead of going through a temp agency, not knowing what you're getting and doing a constant turnover, talk to us.
Is it working? Are you making headway with some of these contractors and people out there?
There's a stigma. I mean, there is a stigma.
Well, I know more about the union than I ever have, just simply because of the advertising that I've heard. That's how I knew how much work was, that you guys were providing people with.
Well, we've had bad, we're structured. We have a business manager he's the boss.
Yeah.
For our local, of course, he answers to the UA. We have a business agent. So, and we've not had the leadership in the past. Our business manager, Joseph Boer, he, in my 40-plus years, when he became business manager, as such as advertising and stuff, it's helped. It's made a change. He sees the future.
And getting out and in front of it and getting people educated as to what you actually do as opposed to the stigma that they think that you guys do.
He supports what we do. We never had that before.
What, in your opinion, is the most sought after or popular trade when folks come to you? Is it is it welding? Is it plumbing? I mean, or is it a group education?
It's a combination. HVAC.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But it's all the above, the plumbing, the pipe fitting, the welding. Now, we have a push for welders. We always want welders simply because there's such a demand for them across the country.
Really?
Yes.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, I don't, just a lot of this pipe and stuff that goes in, the RMD.
Sure.
That's a form of welding that's kind of in demand. TVA's going to be pushing for RMD welders.
People, we hear a lot, we talk a lot about college and about majors and business this and this and that, but we don't talk a lot about these type of labor jobs. We don't talk, so I think people have been in the past uneducated about what they are. They think about it as, really hard labor for not a whole lot of pay, but it's good, clean, honest work for a really good salary, isn't it?
A lot of our stuff on these big projects is set up on laptops, computers. They got all kinds of programs. They got that BIM that you go in and you got a tablet, you punch it in, it gives you a layout of the whole building. It does isometrics on it and shows you where everything's at. So you have to be this, which I'm not, this tech-savvy stuff.
Sure.
I can't even work my phone half the time.
So there's obviously room for all kinds of different jobs coming up through the union and through all, as we get more technologically advanced, obviously. Got to keep up.
I started out as an apprentice, worked through my apprenticeship program. When I was in my early 20s, I was set up as a foreman my first time. I was certified welder. I had a master plumber's license. Wasn't real great at HVAC. I could do the basics, but as far as plumbing and welding and pipe fitting.
Sure.
And then I went on and got a superintendent's job and went up and had a project management position with that company, and I traveled all over the United States, traveled out of the country a few times, and that was before I was 35.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity out there. Do you guys, I may have said something about this earlier, but do you work with the schools? I know you said you went into a lot of places, but do you work with the local schools?
Some high schools. There's been a transition on this high schools. When I went to school, we all had vocational schools.
Yes.
Okay? That's kind of not like they were. Probably more in agriculture. And I may be wrong, but I really think I'm correct on this, that TCAT is working with the schools as far as taking over on the vocational part.
Yeah.
And we work closely with TCAT. Unfortunately, I've not had a chance to hit all of them, but I work real close with Eddie Copeland, Anderson County, and the Knoxville TCAT. One of the guys that's over the whole thing, Lynn Rimmer, he's a friend of mine. I work with him quite a bit, a lot. And, of course, TCAT's set up as a job placement. They want to train them and send them out and get a job.
Yeah.
It's a numbers thing.
Yeah.
Numbers and quality are two different things.
Okay.
I will say that he has sent me, they have sent me some really, really good students that have come up there. They knock it out of the park, whether it be pipe fitting, welding. I've had a real good success rate of getting those kids in. And it all depends on your instructors. Some of the instructors over there, all they want to do is send the kids, get them on a job somewhere, making X amount of money.
Yeah.
I've got 5. I left out Maryville school over there. I've got a bunch of good people from there. They're helping me talk to these kids, and I probably shouldn't say that, but this is a career.
Gotcha.
What you're doing as a trade is a career.
Absolutely.
It's not just going there and getting a job.
Not a job.
So you need to think about it and look at your options. And I go and talk to sometimes 3 or 4 times while they're in school before they graduate. I'll go by school 4 or 5 times and talk, just get them in. Hey, how you guys doing? How's it coming along? Look at their welds, look at their pipe fitting stuff, and talk to them, let them know, you get out of here, you want to go to work, you want to make money, you want to have good insurance.
And like I said, I just had this conversation yesterday with Clinton High School Principal Robbie Harrell with my son. He's a freshman, and now and Robbie was telling us they call it mechanical studies now, or I think that's what they call it. Used to it was shop or what when I went to school, but it's called mechanical studies. And right now, Jacob is going through welding class. Next semester, he's applied and he's got into, or he's going to go through automotive mechanic. But Robbie was telling me that used to kind of what you said, it had a stigma of vocation or whatever. Now they call it mechanical studies. They've got these, when you're a junior and a senior, these job placement programs where if you're excelling in class, you got your grades at a certain level, and you've got your classes, curriculum that you're supposed to take, then they can help place you. And he was telling him all these different places that, they can help place. And so they send them to you, and then you send them to some of the shops that support local union work, or do you leave them there in the union hall and they work? How do you do that when a student comes to you from a high school?
Well, once they graduate high school,
okay,
they can come up and get an application.
Gotcha.
And we'll put them through the apprenticeship program.
Okay. And is there are there certain prerequisites that they have to meet to get into that apprenticeship program?
They will need a high school diploma,
gotcha,
transcript, driver's license.
Sure, the basics. Sure.
Social security number, and that's about it.
And a desire to work.
I'm on the examining board and examine these apprentices, and I know it's a little pet peeve of mine, but when we're talking to them, I'll say, figure out where they're from. When they tell me, okay, did you grow up on a farm? Well, yeah. I said, okay, well, that's probably going to be a good one right there.
Because they're used to working.
Yeah.
That's great.
Not just that, but just knowing your basic hand tools. If you're on a farm around here, you're going to be working on something, so
that's
you're going
true.
to know what a shovel is.
Have you seen an uptick in interest?
Oh, absolutely.
In the last number of years? And what do you attribute that to? Just you guys getting out in front of it and explaining?
Well, a lot of it, the advertisement, but I think it's just... a lot of it's just something. It's not just all high school kids that
sure,
come out. We're talking people who's been in the field 8 or 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's tired of working for a company, not getting paid, getting paid less, having to argue and beg for a raise every year.
Mm-hmm.
Their insurance through these companies is crap.
Yeah.
I was talking to one guy, his wife and 2 kids, making $27 an hour, 40 hours, paying $200-something a week towards the insurance, with an $8,000 deductible. I said,
yeah,
you might as well just go write the doctor a check because you don't have insurance.
Exactly. It's outrageous. So those kind of benefits, those kind of salaries and benefits and things of that caliber is what you guys are dangling out there in front of people
that's
saying.
That's what we sell.
Yeah.
That's me personally. Money's one thing, benefits is everything.
And where do you guys get, is it through the membership that you guys get your momentum, your strength, your finances and stuff through membership dues that allow you to go out, get new programs, find new ways to educate, bring new people in? Is that how you survive?
Well, the training part is, a lot of it's with the UA,
mm-hmm,
but the bulk of it is like in our contract, I think it's like 2 cents on the hour that the contractor pays in for the apprenticeship program.
Right. Well, let's
see. So each contract, our contractors will pay, that's $1.22 an hour.
Okay.
And that goes into apprenticeship so
that you guys can train people.
So we can train people.
Okay. And you take that money that they put back in, you take it, train them, and send new.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, see, the thing about us, too, your defined pension, your annuity, and your insurance is paid by the contractor. It does not come out of your check as a worker.
That's great. So what you make, you get to take home.
Yeah, exactly.
How many people do you have in the 102? In 102, do you think?
So when I started my position over there, we had roughly 300, 350. That counts retired members, and we're right at 800 now.
Oh wow!
I think 826.
826. Growing. That's
Robert's he's the number man over here.
And Robert, do you count that to just people figuring out that they didn't want to go like to a 4-year college, or is it people just discovering, really not realizing that these trades were out there? What do you attribute such growth to? That's a lot of growth.
I think it's both. I think it's getting out in front of it, the advertising, making contact with all these vocational schools, TCAT, getting people interested, showing them that there's a different path besides just going to college.
Yeah.
Being able to come in, whether you have previous training at a TCAT facility or and maybe no training at all, and you just have the dedication to learn for yourself and go through our apprenticeship. And in the end, make a good salary and have great benefits.
So if somebody that just is interested in starting a career or changing their career, whatever, they can go through this 5 or 4 year program that you have, and at the end of that, they're set, ready, and going, and they make money during it as well as they go through the apprenticeship, right?
Yes.
And how does that work when they're brand new, wet behind the ears? How do you guys place them, or do you?
Well, they go to school at nighttime.
Gotcha.
And if we've got contractors needing a first-year apprentice, they go work during the day and come over for 3.5, 4 hours a night, 2 nights a week. We're hoping to change that and be running full-time 8 hours a day during the day. And what I perceive happening is if you're in the school and you're not working, you're going to school classes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then when you go to work, we send you out to work, then you'll come over and roll over in the night shift.
So that way you can offer, they get it done quicker, obviously, if you're doing it at a full-time basis as opposed to just doing it 3 or 4 hours at night.
Right.
And
And you're going to retain more.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're sitting there focused on it and you're not having to split your attention to doing your job, then at night doing this, then whatever life throws at you as well.
Yes.
And do you do this all in Oak Ridge at the new facility?
We still have some classes over our hall on Broadway, 1216 Broadway, next to the WATE.
Yeah.
This has really been nice, having more room and stuff, state of the art. And I would invite anybody, especially contractors, if they, reach out to us, take you down there, we'll let you tour the facility and show what we offer in training and what we're doing.
Why is it that some contractors don't choose to align with you guys in the union? Is it they look for cheap labor, trying to, cap more profit?
Be honest?
Yeah.
It's greed.
Okay. So they want to keep more money.
Yep. I've seen it firsthand. I know I've been doing what I do for 3 years. I've seen it my whole life. I mean, it's just that, and it's a power trip.
Okay.
I mean, I know Tennessee's a right-to-work state.
Sure.
But the same laws that apply at the right-to-work state apply for the union, too.
Yeah.
And I've talked to these guys. They've come to me. And that was another thing on our increasing our membership. I mean, I've got guys that's been out here working 15, 20 years, but they're tired of not making any money and not having any benefits. And that's been a lot of our growth, too. But it's just, that's the only way I can figure it.
How do you appeal to some of those folks that maybe aren't seeing the value in it, or, for lack of a better word, greed, to show them that in the long run this would work out better for them? Is that a fact?
Oh, that's definitely a fact. It's definitely going to be like
for the contractors and the employers.
Yeah. And I mean, if I could just, and I have appealed to a lot of contractors. Let me take you to lunch. Let's have dinner. Let's sit down. Let's look at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk. We can make a package for about anybody to make it work, because we want the contractor to make money, because we want him to employ our people.
Sure, it's got to be a win-win all the way around, or it's a lose for everybody.
Yeah. And we're not like a temp service. I mean, if you're a contractor and I call over to Hall and you send me 5 welders, 5 fitters, 3 of them aren't working out, you don't have to worry about, you just send them back to the hall and say, hey, these guys ain't cutting. Can you send me some more?
Yeah.
And we send them. You don't have to do all this shopping. I mean, they spend a ton of money on advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as job searching, going out to the temp agencies and saying, hey, can you find these guys?
Well, I see all the time, you know, like Ison or SL, they're even buying billboards now. I mean, it's getting to the point. Now, do you guys do anything in the automotive industry? Is your union do anything with all of that?
Strictly the piping mechanical field.
I know that we're at a point, it seems, in this country where we've got a lot of work. We don't have a lot of workers, or at least trained workers. Seems like the fields are ripe for picking if you can just get the word out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Tennessee with the work that we've got coming.
Yeah.
So Tennessee and the Carolinas, what did they tell us the other day on that meeting right there?
I don't
Needing
remember
2,000 more people?
Yeah, I think that was just for TVA jobs, though.
Wow.
Yeah, for Tennessee Valley, they're going to need 2,000 more people just for TVA jobs.
TVA, you know, like we kind of negotiate a little increase every year for the workers. They went above and beyond last year what we negotiated. They come back and even offered more money.
With this nuclear stuff that they're endeavoring into, I mean, I think that's probably going to end up being the energy of the future. So, and they're starting from ground level, so there's going to be work forever and a day on that.
I'm not so sure fossil won't come back.
Well, I think fossil will always be around. I don't think we'll ever be done with it. And I'm not so sure that it's finite.
Let me give you a little story. Several years ago, a buddy of mine, he went down, he lived out in Middle Tennessee, and they hired him as a liaison between Mitsubishi.
Okay.
And it was Alabama, Mississippi Power. Anyway, there was a thing coming up. This is back before Hillary really got down on the coal industry, which I think cost her that election.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, you don't go in town and say, we're going to do away with coal.
You don't go to West Virginia and tell them you're going to get rid of all the coal mines.
No, that ain't going to fly.
Yeah.
But they were in partnership with the United States on building a little coal plant that would refine the coal. When it come in on the truck or the car rail, they sent it through a process and they would cook it. It took all your mercury and stuff, all the pollutants out of it. And they actually looked like little briquettes like you'd put on your grill. And it burned hotter than the natural coal did. So the United States backed out, and Mitsubishi said, well, you know what? We want to do it anyway just to see. And I went down there several times, and my buddy kept me well informed on it. They built this plant. I forgot how many hundreds of $1 million it was. Run this process.
To refine coal.
Seen it at work, tore it down. That's what you're going to do. They said, well, we've got two of them sold. One, I want to say Michigan or someplace. They sold one small plant there and one in Canada. They said, we're going to sit back when they go to natural gas. It's going to get so damn high. And they said, we think the coal is going to come back.
They'll come back, and then they'll start refining coal and selling it.
Sitting waiting on it.
Well, I tell you what, I know there's a lot of people listening to me right now that were big in the coal industry that were devastated when they started closing plants and stuff prior to even that in the Obama administration when they closed a bunch of the coal mines and stuff.
Well, you explain to me, we spent hundreds of billions of dollars putting mercury mitigation systems in all these powerhouses. It's not like it was when I was a kid going down by Kingston, 9 stacks, black soot all over your vehicle.
All over your car.
I mean, that's nothing but pure steam coming out of there.
Yeah.
So
it's I think a lack of education as to the technology that we can use now to burn clean, energy. Yep. Period. We're the cleanest country in the world as far as our energy. Yeah, and
we pay the price of it. What good does it do us
when China
punish our own workers, our own people, when every other country is wide open?
I agree. I agree completely. Like I've said before, if we went completely 100% green and electric and all this other tomfoolery, and they don't, it's going to cause, whatever damage it causes, it's going to cause it the same, just maybe eventually or a little longer because they're continuing, and China don't operate under near the regulations, if any, that we do. So, I mean, the clean energy that we're trying to produce, and you would think that people would want to do that just because it's efficient. It's also an industry unto itself. I would say if you owned one of those plants to clean coal and natural gas did get expensive, you could make quite a bit of money mining and cleaning coal and selling it. So it's like an industry unto itself. So Smarter people than me evidently are making these decisions because it don't make sense to me.
Well, it's just like you mentioned, electric stuff. Electric vehicles. To me, that did not make sense. Electric vehicles are great.
Sure.
This country does not have the infrastructure or the power source to provide I think it was too quick, too fast. Me and ideally, this is just me, and I'm not real smart, but if you want to do EV, do it in your big metropolitan cities. Do it in Chicago, New York, San Francisco, where you don't have a long commute, make all that electrical. That's where a lot of your smog comes from anyway.
Yeah. Well, I thought, if we just take whatever we have that creates the largest amount of pollution, buses, planes, start with some of that and see where we're going to be from there. And if they want electric cars, let them buy them. But a mandate on it, like you said, we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have, just the capacity to make the batteries and the things that we're going to need. So,
well, those batteries is another issue too. They want to talk about environment. Way more detrimental to the environment, mining the minerals and stuff. Not to mention when you're getting it from overseas, you're getting into child labor, slave labor.
Yeah, we're just trading our bad to farm it out over here and bring it in as a product. So, well, I think my brother's in the union. My brother's a master electrician, runs. I think he's got 1,600 men that work under him right now. Like I said, my dad's retired, so I'm familiar with it from the standpoint of it's provided a living for my dad and my family growing up. I went to a little bit of college, but I quit and bought radio stations and started doing this because I like to talk so much. But I appreciate what you guys do. I see value in it. I was raised up with it and understand it, and I agree. People have a misconception of it a lot. And what you're doing, getting out there with your advertising, getting out there and being in front of it causes people to ask questions. And just like today, I guarantee there are people out there going, well, I didn't know they had a program like that. Little Johnny could go through, grandparents or parents that have kids that don't know exactly what they want to do. Like I said, I've got a son right now. I've got 3 boys. One's 18 and proud of South Alabama UT, going to be an astrophysicist. I said, go. I don't know where he got that from, but go. I got one that loves sports, and I got one that wants to build and weld and work on stuff. And they all 3 have found avenues for what they do. And Jacob will probably be he'll probably be in your union when he gets done out of school. So. There's room for everybody for what they want to do. It's just, like I said, a misconception that there wasn't big jobs, good jobs, money. When you're talking 6 figures or $200,000 a year, people's eyes get open quick.
You're talking 40 hours a week around here right now. You're going to be, if you just want to work 40 hours. Mm-hmm. That's what the union supposedly was set up on, 8-hour workday, 40 hours. I worked very, very few 40-hour jobs in my life.
Yes,
but,
sir.
You're 80, 90,000, not counting your benefits.
Sure. And
that's not bad money.
No, that's good money. That's very good money. Around here you can live on that quite comfortably in East Tennessee. You can make a living, raise a family on that. Is there anything else about what you're doing, what you guys are proposing to do in the future, about your facility, or anything that I've not asked you that you want people to know about?
Yeah. I think you've covered quite a bit there.
We've covered a lot of territory, haven't we?
Well, I would invite.
We're going to clean up the world too with all this EV.
That's just common sense.
I agree.
Rick Scarborough, he just got elected. I knew his dad. I know his dad. I think he's still alive.
You know Gary Whitley?
Gary Whitley.
He was in. I don't know which union he was in. But he was in. I know Carl was over down.
Yeah, Carl was a big IBEW and stuff. So I want to reach out and try and set up a meeting with Rick because he understands our demographics around here.
Sure. Of course, he was our police chief for a long, long time here in Clinton. Now,
well, hopefully he won't remember me. I'm just kidding.
I get it. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. It's interesting, and like I said, it's not the union you see in the movies and the TV, and going back to the old days when cracking heads and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of opportunity for people. There's a lot of opportunity for young folks. Well, let me ask you about this. At one time, I was at one of these. We had a facility here, and it taught robotics and a lot of other stuff, and they were talking about how there was a lack of female participation. He was talking about a young lady that went through their program and could work on these robots. This was in the car industry. And her first job right out of school was, I think, 130 to start, because they were recruiting females. They didn't have a lot of girls that were interested in this. Do you guys run into that? Obviously, it's probably a male-dominated field, but do you guys recruit females, or do you need them?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've got a lot. How many female apprentices we have? We've got some female journeymen.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, they're welcome.
Sure.
The UA pushes us for female and minorities.
That's right.
Their idea is they want our union to look like our community.
Sure. That's good.
So.
And that's kind of what he was saying, and it's that these places that needed people for EOE or whatever it is needed, different. They needed more than men. Mm-hmm. So they were highly recruiting to, meet those standards that were set for them. And I just didn't know if you guys had seen some of that as well. But I appreciate you coming in. I think that it's, maybe give a different face to what you're doing and give an opportunity for people to encourage their kids or grandkids or whoever.
Well,
take a look at it.
You're welcome to come into our facility if you want to bring your son that's interested in welding to come down.
I'd love to do that.
Take a look at it.
What's the phone number people could call if they wanted to do something like that, talk to you guys, get more information? Well, who could they call?
865-523-7413 and listen to the prompts.
Okay. We'll send them your way. I might just do that. I might bring Jacob down there and let him see, because he's already, he loves to work on things. He begged me to buy his 1987 Honda ATV, and it had to be cut out of the weeds to even load it. And I was not happy. I didn't want to do it. He bought it for $50. And I didn't want to do it. I said, this is a waste of time. You're not going to be able to do this. He was like, okay. In 2 days, he had it running, He was driving around on flat, weather-worn tires, but he had it running,
It was $50 in 2 days. You kept the kid busy.
Absolutely.
Something is worth a lot more.
I can show you a picture of my garage right now. My wife just walked out and sent me a picture of the garage. She said, I guess I'd rather have him doing this than out doing meanness, because there are tools and oil and stuff all over the place. But you're right. That's exactly true. I know exactly what he's doing, and he's not into trouble. He's not into meanness, and he's learning something, and he's accomplishing something. And you should have seen how proud he was when he got that silly thing started. Everybody had to come out and see it running. So I know that the pride that people get from a job well done, and once you teach them how to do it and be able to go out there and do it. So I appreciate what you guys do. I appreciate you all doing business with us here at the radio station. And I hope that we can round you up some folks and you can grow another 2 or 3 times the size that you are.
Looking forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Anything else before I wrap things up? All right, guys. 865-523-7413. That's the number. If you need any more information, call me here at the station. We'll put it on the website or what have you for you to reach out and speak to the guys at Local 102. And like I said, if you need any more information that you haven't got here, call me and we'll reach out to them and get it for you. This is Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Have a great, great Tuesday. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Today's program is a repeat of a program from last year featuring Local 102 Union and union members. We hope you enjoy today's Ask Your Neighbor.
As a homeowner, I'm always looking for peace of mind, especially when I have a costly, unplanned expense, like a cooling system repair or replacement. That's